The car was already underwater when the panic hit. The windows wouldn't open, the doors wouldn't move, and the water was climbing faster than his breath could keep up. In the dark, with his chest burning and his hands shaking, he did the only thing he could think to do. He prayed. Not loudly, not eloquently, just one desperate plea before everything went quiet. Daniel Mercer didn't remember the moment the tires lost traction. Only the sound, a hollow thud, a weightless lurch, and then the sickening realization that the road was no longer beneath him. The car slid sideways, slow at first, like it might correct itself. Then gravity took over. The ditch appeared too late. Water flashed up in the headlights, and the world tilted violently left. Impact. Cold exploded around the doors. The engine died. The dashboard went black. Daniel sat frozen, hands locked on the steering wheel, listening to the unnatural silence that followed, broken only by the sound of water rushing in somewhere below his feet. "This can't be happening," he whispered. The water crept higher, soaking the carpet, numbing his ankles instantly. He reached for his phone. No signal. He fumbled for the window controls and pressed. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. The water reached his knees. That's when the panic arrived. His breathing turned sharp and shallow. His thoughts scattered, slamming into each other with no order, no logic. He kicked at the door, but the pressure outside held it firm. The windshield was intact. The side windows refused to budge. The water climbed. And suddenly, there was no more time for denial. He was trapped. Daniel had always imagined drowning would be violent, thrashing, screaming, chaos. Instead, it was terrifyingly quiet. The water reached his waist, then his chest. Every breath felt smaller than the last. His hands shook so badly, he dropped his phone into the dark water below. He tried to remember what to do. Something about waiting, or breaking a window, or unbuckling first. But panic erased everything he'd ever known. His heart hammered. His vision narrowed. His lungs burned before the water even touched his face. "I don't want to die like this," he said aloud, his voice cracking in the enclosed space. The water reached his shoulders. He squeezed his eyes shut. And then, without thinking, without planning, it happened. A prayer. Not polished, not memorized, just instinct. "God, please," he whispered. "I can't do this. Help me." For a split second, nothing changed. Then something impossible happened. The panic stopped. Not slowly, not gradually. It stopped, as if someone had flipped a switch. His heartbeat slowed. His breathing steadied. The frantic noise in his mind went silent. And in that stillness, a single clear thought rose above everything else. Wait. Daniel didn't understand why, but he obeyed. The water reached his chin. Daniel expected terror to rush back in, but it didn't. Instead, he felt calm, unnaturally calm. He loosened his grip on the steering wheel and let his body float slightly upward, just as another thought surfaced, gentle precise, unmistakable. Unbuckle now. His hands moved without hesitation, the seatbelt released. He held onto the wheel to keep himself oriented as the water rose over his mouth and nose. The cold was shocking. His body screamed for air, but his mind stayed quiet. Another thought came. When the pressure equalizes, push. He waited. Seconds stretched into eternity as the car filled completely. Darkness wrapped around him. The water pressed in from every side. Then, suddenly, the pressure changed. Daniel pushed against the door. This time, it moved. He kicked free, bursting into open water, gasping violently as his head broke the surface. Cold night air tore into his lungs, sharp and painful and alive. He floated there, coughing, shaking, staring up at the sky in disbelief. Moments later, headlights appeared on the road above. Someone had seen the skid marks. Help was already on the way. Daniel clung to the muddy bank, water dripping from his clothes, his body trembling, not from the cold alone, but from the realization. He hadn't escaped by strength. He had been guided. Daniel sat wrapped in a blanket, watching his car being pulled from the ditch. The responders kept asking how he stayed calm, how he knew what to do, how he didn't panic. He didn't know how to answer, because the truth felt strange on his tongue. "I prayed," he finally said. That night, long after the adrenaline faded, Daniel lay awake, replaying the moment over and over. The instant when fear vanished, the stillness that followed, the thoughts that didn't feel like his own. He hadn't been particularly religious before that night, but he knew one thing now. In the moment when his strength ran out, something else stepped in. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with calm. And sometimes that's the miracle. Some prayers don't change the situation. They change us inside the situation. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs hope tonight. Follow Lanes and Lanterns for more true stories of faith, timing, and quiet miracles. And tell us in the comments, have you ever felt calm when you shouldn't have?